Right back at you. MILegalize, whatever you want to call it. You know, they're pretty mad about what's going on. They're taking this shit to the Supreme Court. If you're in Michigan and you know what's going on, or I mean, you know, you're watching my channel or you're watching the news, whatever you watch, and you notice all these places doing legalizing marijuana on the ballot, whether it be recreational or medical. There's like 5 recreational. I don't know. Anyway, there's like 9 or more people trying to legalize marijuana in November, and it looks good for some of them, but the laws don't look all that great for a lot of them. Could be better, could be worse for some of them. MILegalize in Michigan are mad because we're not talking about them much, except for that they failed, and when people lose, no one really seems to talk about them anymore. They just kind of, oh, they're gone, see you later. Well, MILegalize is back, and they're live as hell. And the first thing they're going to do is they're going to go to the Supreme Court and be like, we just got our, constitutional rights to shit on all over the place. So that's going on. And then the next thing they're going to do is they're organizing signature drives for the 2018 ballot, which is a smart idea because in case this Supreme Court thing falls through, we're going to do this. That's the attitude. And I want to just consider myself like an honorary member of MILegalize. I got them a lot of signatures, sent them some money, and I interviewed Deborah Young at the Cannabis Cup. So, I feel like I'm doing something. Anyway, they churned out 354,000 signatures out of the 280 something that they needed on a 2016 issue, in case you don't know. And we got screwed on this 180-day rule that kind of wasn't even there until Snyder decided to put it there, almost seemingly specifically for MILegalize. But at the same time, there was also people talking about impeaching him, so he wanted to make sure he got out in front of that. MILegalize will go forward with a restructuring of the ballot group and in preparation for another petition drive. A September 22nd news release from the board member, Jamie Lowell, said, quote, the MILegalize movement remains united and focused on planning over the next few months, Chairman Jeffrey Hank said in a prepared statement. Jeffrey Hank is the man in Michigan. He's I trust him. He's kind of like our only hope when it comes to the people getting their laws passed. We've seen Michigan come in with the legislative powers and kind of like preemptive strike the medical aspects of MILegalize, which MILegalize not only kept the same protections in place for the caregiver-patient model, but it strengthened it and enabled the caregivers to become involved in the recreational marijuana business, as well as be stewards, I would say, for the medical marijuana aspect of their version of marijuana laws in Michigan, which would have been, by all means, the best. And whenever something like MILegalize comes in and they do their thing, and if they get on the ballot, then the legislator huddles up and tries to figure out what are we going to do about this to neuter it. If they don't get on the ballot, then they get together and say, what are we going to do to preemptively pass our own stuff? And in the case of Michigan's legislature, it's super slow motion to get to recreational marijuana or hemp legalization. Hemp hasn't even been mentioned by anybody in the Lansing that I know of. So anyway, let's see. The current board is talking about reorganization, improved campaign, an advisory committee to include people in leadership positions. Hey, you might want to look at me. I've done a lot for MILegalize, and I will do it again. And if we set a goal, hey, we got to get all these signatures in this 180-day window, I'm pretty sure we can do it, man. Anyway, can I just give my hint on that? We should do it in April to September or whatever. Just saying, last time they started it kind of at a weird time, and I don't know, it might not have been prime time. So we expect a resolution from the courts, but that does not mean that we will be standing still as that process continues, says Tom Levine, MILegalize board member and attorney with the Detroit-based law firm Cannabis Counsel. Levine represented a petitioner who sued the state of Michigan U.S. District Court in a case that the federal judge denied a motion to halt the Michigan ballot printing process to allow signatures to be counted and for the issue to be added to the ballot. MILegalize is still hoping for relief in federal courts despite being past 2016 election deadlines either in the U.S. District Court or the U.S. Supreme Court, where the group is planning to appeal. The group argues that Michigan courts did not address core arguments of the legal challenge, and they didn't. The group criticized a package of bills overhauling medical marijuana in Michigan. In less than 48 hours, we have witnessed the stealing of an election and the hijacking of the emerging cannabis industry in Michigan, Lowell said. The group plans to hold an informational town hall style meeting in the up and coming months in several locations around the state and wants to allow for public input. Hank said MILegalize has grown into a legitimate political force, and I agree. We're everywhere. We might as well become a political party. I think we outnumber the Democrats in Michigan at this point, because most of them are us too anyway. The outpouring of support and desire to complete this mission is so profound that we really have no choice but to continue this effort and prepare for another petition drive, he said, noting the group will take time until spring to plan, analyze, and utilize data for the 2018 petition drive. We will be releasing more information on funding, but we demonstrated that we could raise over $1.1 million last time when we started out with less than $10,000. And the whole first month of only volunteer signatures. That's the one that didn't count, though. Whenever they figured out their 180-day window, that first month is when I got all my friends and family to sign it. Those were probably the most legit signatures that we got. And yet, they were the so-called stale signatures. Anyway, we know we have a popular plan, and we'll do whatever we can to ensure Michigan voters have a chance to be heard. If you want if you have additional questions or would like to participate, you can always go to info@MILegalize.com. You can just go to MILegalize.com, look for MILegalize on Facebook. I am from Michigan, so I'm all about it. Let's do this. Why not, At the same time, I really hope the U.S. Supreme Court, which doesn't have any reason to do anything, there's no way they will do anything. But if they did, that'd be some awesome, I don't even know what. It's not even lame duck time yet. It would be impossible to be in a lame duck session. Not that that matters to the Supreme Court. They only do what they do when they do it. So maybe they're talking about a special election between now and 2018. I look at it like this. Maybe they're just trying to take all this to the Supreme Court, and they don't even want that to have bearing on this ballot thing, whether it's on the ballot, in 2016 especially. As far as I know, there's no election in 2017. Special election would cost a shitload of money, unless you're the governor and you're trying to beg for money. So I don't see it, man. The only reason they're doing this court action to the Supreme Court is to change these stupid laws that say that you only get 180 days and all this other shit, so that even if we miss the window, then we've changed the laws, we've done that, and the timing will be right. Trust me, and I trust them. I think they're playing a game of chess here, and we're going to vote on this in 2018. That's fine with me, man, because this bullshit coming down the pipe from the legislative branch in Michigan isn't going to be anything good ever. So, congratulations to MILegalize for actually being a real movement for the people, by the people, and of the people.